Ready?
And now we just want to talk to make sure that we can hear ourselves.
I guess. I'm watching, it's not doing nothing. Slow, there we go. All right, I'd like to call the Knox Planning Commission meeting to order and stand for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amendment agenda.
No amendment.
Okay. I would like to say, in the future, if anybody has anything they need to put on the agenda, we would like to have it at least 5 days out for me and Lonnie. So he can review it, so he can post it on the door outside, so the public can see it. Because he does all that Friday, because it has to be at least 72 hours out before we have our meeting. And then if there's anything going on, me and him can talk about it a little bit, and if I have to, I can do some research. So that's no problem. The next thing is like to approve the minutes from April 7th.
I'll make a motion to approve the April minutes.
Do I have a second?
Second that motion.
Jamie, second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? You got 5 yays and no nays.
Yay.
Okay,
I think I printed off the wrong one.
so
The one
that's
that's posted, we had to talk about the subdivision.
okay, and now the old business.
That's the subdivision.
So in my notes here, we left out on page 17. Does that sound correct, everybody?
Okay, before we get started, I was talking with the mayor and he said, Bings, we are an advisory board, that if it's something you feel strongly about, we don't have to go into great depth. We'll put it on as the advisory part of it. And at that point, it actually goes to the city council. The city council then, usually without even looking at it, they send it to the engineer who's done most of our ordinances. And the engineer goes through, he can go with all them recommendations, but he'll know, because he's done all of our other ordinances, if one spot conflicts with another and everything. So anybody's recommendation, because we are a board to recommend change, list it on your notes. And I will, on top of whatever's already wrote, I'll just put several different subject items for him to review, combine them together, and use his professional wordage to bring it all together. So he's like, it can be a lot easier. Now, obviously, as we're going through, there may be something that we don't even want in there. Well, yeah, scratch it out. You know, it don't have to be in there. Or put a note on one of them. Yeah, it seemed like the majority approved, a few didn't, you know, a couple notes. So it'll give him an idea of how strong the board felt about something in particular. So keep, you know, take your notes. And then, like I said, after we get all through it, I'll take everybody's notes and go line by line and just keep adding to it. Because honestly, there isn't really a bad idea, because if somebody thought it was a good idea to some other people, it still may be good. You know, so if it's something we can't really agree on or anything like that, don't worry about it. It'll be added to it, and the engineer and city council at that point will take a look at it. So, because a lot of you are aware of some of these house bills that are passing, and we're wanting to really get this going. We've been working on it for nearly 4 years. we want to really get it moving along so we can have some other stuff in front of this board that will be a pleasant surprise when you find out what it is.
Okay, sounds like one idea. Jim, do you remember where we left off?
We haven't started page 17 yet.
Okay, I thought that's what, I didn't think we started on it, so, would you like to pick it up? On number 7, number 1, 7-1?
Well, the way we were doing it was just if anybody had a note that they wanted to consider.
Did anybody have any,
Going through it.
Yeah.
Its entirety page by page.
Yeah.
did anybody, okay, then, did anybody have any? You wanna wait a second? Here comes, oh, I thought that was, okay, if nobody has any problems with, page 17 in full, let's go to page 18. Any discussions on 18? Nope, me neither. Okay, page 19. Nothing. Page 20,
Yes.
okay,
Lot standards, D, number 1, refers to section 5.2 of this ordinance. What does 5.2 of this ordinance state?
I don't know, I'd have to look it up.
Is it part of what we've already reviewed?
That's what I'm thinking it is, or,
Because when I go back to 5.2, it has nothing to do with lot size.
yeah. Or that is referring to this original ordinance that this had been mimicked from. So that could be simply crossed out. And that's where I would suggest the lot dimensions and standards to be the same as before.
Right.
You
And
know,
that's covered under, it's covered on page 24.
And we haven't gotten there yet.
Right.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
That reference is just not a.
on my paperwork, I have it highlighted also. It was a question I had, I wasn't,
Yeah, so with a lot of that, when we get to page 34, reference back, but a lot of those with our lot sizes, because we ran into this a few years ago. Our lot sizes used to be 66 foot wide. It caused a lot of confusion because now they're 80 feet wide. So if they're actually a platted subdivision on the 66 foot wide, I could permit somebody to build on there. So in conjunction with our old ordinances, some of those things will also be added, which he'll review our existing ordinance and see what conflicts with what. But his main overall goal is he's trying to get a feel for what this board is wanting. So when everybody has their ideas, that's just gonna really help him get a feel of what the board wants in its entirety.
okay.
Also then on the very next section, and I know it's covered later on in here, but if you could explain it to us, Lonnie. Number 2, the double frontage lot, and number 8, the vehicular access from lots to minor, major arteries, arterial streets.
A lot of that comes now into the state regulations. State regulations have several of them in our speed limit. Well, it's an ordinance for driveways that are in conjunction with the speed limits of how far they have to be away from the intersections. There's, when you're talking double frontage lots, if they still have 160 feet, they can still divide that. So I don't see where that double frontage is necessarily a strong point. It's more of a recommendation in there. So some of that language should be taken out
because it just makes it confusing.
It's confusing.
Yeah, so like with that, with number 2, if, you know, we all decide to exit out, we can exit out, but list that as an unfavorable decision. And if the engineer has a different interpretation of it and can adjust the verbiage on that to really make it make sense. Because honestly, that's why a
Civilian board makes a lot of this stuff up, because they're the ones reading the ordinance and trying to figure out exactly what it says.
you know,
Yeah, it's prohibited, except it may not be prohibited. That's the way it reads.
yeah, which makes absolutely
No sense whatsoever.
whatsoever.
So I would recommend to cross it out. And then I would highlight it in red as unfavorable unless the engineer can.
You need a motion.
No, none of this needs a motion.
Before we move on, then, where are we at exactly? I'm trying to find it.
Page 20,
Section D.
Oh,
22.
oh, that's where I'm at.
20, yeah, D, number 2. And then, yeah, to me, okay, I agree. I think we should cross it out. And, when you, present it to the engineer, either highlight it in red or
Yeah,
on,
and that's what my intentions are. And
And if for some reason in there, he's like, yeah, but that makes sense if it's put in this language, you know? So some of that, instead of changing the graphics of all of this, I'd essentially just be adding to it and highlighting certain things in different colors. Make it simple and time effective for my office, but yet still a good point to our engineer. And in the meantime, if anybody else wants to read what's going on, you know, there may be some city council members that, hey, what have you guys been working on? Let me read it, see if I understand it, you know? So,
I would say the same thing on number 8.
yeah. Yeah, I 100% agree.
yeah, I didn't think about that. Anything else on page 20? Page 21? Any notes?
Yeah, I got a question mark by F1, but I don't remember why.
But I'll read it real quick, see if I can understand it, maybe explain. It's looking like here, they're leaving a spot open. There's a subdivision called Deer Run. I believe it's Deer Run down by Lighters Ford. Those lots are all 3 acres apiece, and every single lot is required to have a pond on it. The main reason it's required to have a pond because this ground is so hilly, they had to fill in around the house, so with 3 acres, and this is what what this could be. But if we put a big question mark on that and highlight it and say yellow, and then, you know, ask the engineer to explain that, he may say, no, this makes absolutely no sense, I'm leaving it out. Oh, they question marked it, I'm leaving it out, you know.
My
Especially within the city limits, how would you? I can't see.
It would be like the subdivision out on Short Drive. Now, there's more than 40 lots. So would they have to leave 1 acre open?
Exactly. For what reason?
Yeah. And if we want to grow the city of Knox, why not build a house on it?
Yeah. And that's
That's,
Yeah, I agree totally. You,
That's where with the city subdivision, we put in the covenants that no lots could be combined, that they all had to be built on.
and they took, well, and what they did is the city went ahead and that covenant put in 2 retention ponds to collect any kind of runoff that will, if there's an overflow, will go into that ditch that's right there. So that also helps as far as any kind of rainfall. But yeah, I agree, a question mark in yellow.
And number 2 goes right in line with.
goes right,
one.
exactly, goes right in line with it. And when you, yes, it's a good idea, but that is something that is more in a trailer park, which we don't have a trailer park ordinances. We have, well, we do have, but we have no trailer parks. Instead of 80-foot, I believe it's more like 50-foot wide. So the kids don't even have room for a swing set in there. So to have a common space like that is a good idea, but there's no reason to require it.
It'd be a good idea, especially if it were like a multi-unit, like a condominium or
Exactly.
something like that.
And when they come into the plan review for something like that, the board still has the authority to request that, or we're not going to approve it. Because the kids first, and you go back to health, safety and welfare is always a good spot that I run off of. We don't want 40 households in a multi-unit complex. The kids have to go 4 miles to go to the park. That's not safe for the kids. So if there's a park there, under the health, safety and welfare of the children, you could have some sort of park put in there. So, that there is just, it's the same thing with open space to the aspects of even completely deleting it.
And then G1, do we really want the final authority to be in this body to name subdivisions?
No, because for instance, we may have one coming up here pretty soon, right on the last property south of town on Roosevelt. They're talking about putting in a subdivision. And like most developers do, they'll name the road after their mom and name the subdivision after their family name or whoever's paying for it to honor their, so that could very easily shy a company away, because does the city of Knox care what somebody names their subdivision?
Well, I thought that state code said it was mayor's, but could be delegated to us.
Yeah,
And if we were to accept this wording, then you're bypassing the mayor and that's not
Well,
right.
and that I knew this was coming up, that's why I have this. The mayor, duties and responsibilities. The mayor is responsible for the overall operation of the city. That is backed by IC code, along with several other responsibilities. So yeah, I would say,
So do we wanna just put a line through all that? The last part of it, the planning commission has final authority? Or do you wanna X out all of number 1?
Yeah, and that's where a lot of people mistake, is there are multiple levels. I believe there's 5 levels of planning commission. It goes from advisory, and then yes, in the much larger cities, they do have the final say.
so. But we don't have the population to have that. It's strictly advisory, so anything that says the planning commission shall have the final decision, they ultimately don't.
It's already state law that it's the mayor's responsibility, but he may delegate.
Exactly.
So we don't need that number 1 at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, they say that they name a subdivision after whatever they're replacing, like Fox Run or like, Oak Park or something, so. whatever they're tearing down to put that subdivision in.
Is usually the easy name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Most of us know how hard it is to name a dog or a kid, let alone a subdivision.
Page 22 then.
Page 22. Number 3.
I have highlighted on 22, number H, sections 5 and 8 herein. I'm not exactly sure what that means.
Same as before, that was referencing another area's
So
codes.
we
That's
should
not.
strike that.
Yeah, that's why they're highlighted, because it's not really.
Yeah, I think you highlighted them, right?
mm,
Well, okay, Jim, you were saying?
At the very top of the page, number 3, the plan commission shall have final authority to name all streets in case of conflicts at the time of preliminary plan approval.
That was,
There again, I think that's approval of the mayor that can be delegated.
Yes,
Well,
and to the aspects of, even if we thought as a planning commission had the final authority, the mayor still has veto authority. So that kind of stuff should be completely stricken.
Um,
well, and if somebody's gonna come in and develop a section of property here within the city, I'm sure that whoever's gonna develop that will probably get with the mayor and said, hey, I would like to name the street
Mm,
after a family member, and
Well, I think that the problem they're worried about, or what they're aimed at, what they're worried about is like streets that would be like, say, Maple Terrace and then Maple Street and
Maple Lane.
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
or things that phonically sound too close together.
and you, and if you go out in different areas, I've seen that in
Yeah.
different areas of different cities, towns, where you'll go by an Maple Road, and then down a little bit, you go Maple Avenue.
I go to Atlanta and missing a peach tree.
Yeah.
You know, there are peach streets everywhere.
Anything else on page 22?
Yeah, if you're gonna take out 5 and 8, then you need to redo agent, that just the first part of H where it refers to section 5 and 8.
mhm.
Right.
And the definition for a mobile home park, I couldn't find the definition of that anywhere.
Yeah, and that's where with the mobile home park, I believe in our actual ordinance, we have a definition of that.
Now, we may want to cross-reference instead of where it says section 5 and 8, put in where it can be found.
And where the mobile home park, that is exactly what it is. It's a mobile home. So the hitch stays on, the tires stay on, all of that. So
Can you define for us, Lonnie, what a major thoroughfare is? Is that a highway or?
yes, that'd be a highway. The state has depictions of how many cars per hour, what that is. I don't know exactly what that is, but it's in reference here to 35, which
5
is
o'clock.
heating.
Yeah, you get into that mobile home stuff, that's,
And a lot of that's for our engineer. He knows what the new laws, and especially with House Bill 1001 that just passed. If very many of you have read those, we're gonna have to rely on a professional to integrate House Bill 1001. And that will include mobile homes, that includes all of that.
Anything else on 22? Okay, 23. Alani's got a couple of spots highlighted on number 12 and number 15. those are the same thing, kind
Yeah.
of cross them out,
Yeah, they're not pertinent.
okay,
12 to 15.
yeah.
I did that. So,
Anything else on 23? Page 24?
The only note I have is in, the 5C. I don't know what the difference is in the arterial streets, collector streets and local streets.
And I was talking with the mayor on that, and we do have a street ordinance. So that street ordinance would be implemented into where this is talking about streets. You know, because we're gonna keep our same street regulations, which are about the same as state regulations are, you know. So the street part of it, that'll be in with our street.
The only thing I had is, whoever typed this up either hit space bar or didn't hit space bar or something, because it's A, B, and then C is all the way over. And then on 6, you got A and B outside the lines and C, and
Well, the good thing is it's not up for final approval.
I know, but I'm just saying. Okay, page 25. The only thing I have is the misspelled word on the top, D, the minimum grade of all, I guess that's supposed to be streets. There's a bunch of spaces in there, is 4-10th.
Computer transfer that did not
I
transfer.
don't know. I mean, maybe the computer had a hiccup. And then some of the, on 9 below A is kind of, the first part of it's kind of, I don't know. I don't know if it messed up when it was printing or what, but I have that flagged. But anything else on 25? Page 26? Page 27? Page 28? Page 29? Page 30? Page 31? I have one thing, it's, down there, F, number 1. It should be, Knox instead of Napanee.
Okay, did you say F1 or under monuments or markers?
No, F, number 1,
Page
this,
31.
page 31.
Page 31.
F, number 1, the subdivision shall, then,
Wait.
Okay.
I got monuments for F1 here.
yeah, you got F, go down to number 1, Jeff.
That's right below it. It says monuments and markers shall be placed, but under supervision.
Yeah. There's that word shouldn't be there.
On 31, Jeff,
Yes, yeah, okay. Okay, I'll just come over there. Here's where I got F1.
On 31?
Yeah.
And here's F, there's number 1, this right here.
Oh,
You
down
see,
here.
there's, okay, I see what you're saying, F,
Yeah.
okay, monuments.
so yeah, you're under, I
Okay,
guess that would be EF.
one.
Okay.
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 Sorry, my fault. Okay,
Oh, okay.
page 32. 33. 34. I also have the same thing on H where it says streets and signs. Number 1, the second sentence, the city of,
Okay,
page 34. Where's number H, where it says streets and signs and streetlights. On number 1, where it says the subdivision shall be,
The city of Knox.
yeah, it should be. Anything else on that? Page 35. Page 36. Page 37. Page 38. And 39. And I'm done.
then, with the, our old subdivision, it's been a while ago since I printed those out for everybody. Then, the different, obviously I've printed off a lot in the past, a lot of events, restrictions, that sort of thing. So this here, I guess, is the part of the meeting where we discuss what we would like to see. That'll come into play with our, what is that plan called?
Master plan.
Like the master, drawing blank. Where we don't want to see our city go to, comprehensive plan.
Oh, okay.
So, because that's one of the things that's coming up here very shortly. So with the subdivision, control ordinance is a huge part of the comprehensive plan. So when it comes to what we want to see the city become, but yet keep in mind being one of the poorest cities in the county, we have to give some sorts of leniencies and some sorts of understanding, but yet still achieve a goal, knowing that we're not gonna be probably the most influential, the nicest city in the state. So yeah, we'd love to see brand new perfect bridges and everything like a lot of other new cities have. Let's face it, we're not gonna get to that. So to keep in mind for the well-being of our people, bringing more people in, growing, what would we want to see? Trees, colors. Maybe, some people may not like certain colors. I've seen that in some of these, where people go non-conforming and they paint their house some 10 different crazy colors because they're mad at their neighbors.
They can, or they do.
Well, it puts a strain on my office under non-conforming. So to have something in the subdivision ordinance, for instance, another one, which I don't necessarily like, there's some subdivisions you go in, got the same color shingles, same color of siding, some of it the same type of siding. Every single house, even though they're different, they look exactly the same. Most of these ordinances and control ordinances talk about having something visually different, as in floor plans. But most of them don't ever say something about having continued of the exact color of shingles throughout an entire subdivision. In the subdivision control ordinance, you can state that all the shingles does not have to be, or not required to be, matching in any subdivision. That's kind of ideas that I'm trying to shoot out.
Yeah, you're talking like a gated community where they have set standards.
Yeah,
Everybody's mailboxes have to be this mailbox.
yeah.
Everybody's doors have to be a certain color or black and white or.
And that's where I'm giving some of these examples just from the past to kind of make you guys kind of think a little bit.
What are your pet peeves over the years when you're driving through a subdivision? It's like, it's a nice subdivision, but it's awful. Or,
Wow.
wow, I drove through that one. That's the most amazing one I've ever seen in my life.
Usually it's the thing that'll catch anybody's eye right off the bat is street appeal. And that means mowed lawns.
Yeah.
Trees and vegetation trimmed.
Some type of.
Our biggest problem, in my opinion, and not, I'm not picking on anybody. I'm not saying anybody's responsible for it. Lonnie can't do it by himself. We don't enforce our ordinances. Plain, pure and simple. My subdivision, and it's in the subdivision ordinance, 2 trees, front yard. You can count the number of houses that have 2 trees in the front yard on 2 fingers.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
Today I talked,
But it's an ordinance, but it's not enforced. We have lots that are overgrown. It's not enforced. Lonnie, and our biggest problem may be money, that Lonnie can't have somebody to help him do this. I've got a lot out in that subdivision and it was started in 2007. So we're coming up on 20 years. It has never been mowed. Never. Next year will be 20 years. Never been mowed.
until
Street
now.
appeal.
Until now. That particular one, last month, I was able to get 18 or 19 tall grass vegetation letters out. Because as everybody knows, when that sort of stuff draws down property value. I had a complaint about 2 weeks ago that somebody was dumping trash in there. And yeah, I put it on my list. I'll get to it. But I finally got on there and she called, the lady from there called me today and asked what was being done. And I told her, I said, well, I sent the letter out last week. It's out of town, the owner. They're permitted 5 days after notification. For one, I don't know when they get notified. So I'm claiming 3 days for the mail. They can automatically appeal to the Board of Works for another 14 days. So right now we're 20 days out before I can do any enforcement. Now I have, Friday, I was trying to get with one of the clerks who handle the citation parts of this. Now they're gonna be enforced to the aspects of if it's not done by this particular time. I've sent our mowing guy out. He did 4 big properties, real bad big properties. And the next is sending it, like with the one in your subdivision, there's gonna be a professional that gets sent out there. The trees will be.
Yeah, they're gonna have to bring chainsaws.
Yeah, and I've already talked to a couple contractors that are gonna be involved with that.
Now, you did have great success with Sunny Brooks subdivision. Those 4 lots, they've been maintained for the last 3 months.
Yeah, and and then, yeah, that one back behind there.
Yeah.
And when the last group of letters went out, you could tell in the letters, there are no forgiveness. So, it's a letter I wouldn't want sent to me, you know. So as I've been learning this process of putting the special assessments on these homes, enforcing what's going on. If you paid attention to the Board of Works, there's been a lot of heavy enforcement going on. To your neighbor, when I was spoken with her about it, I was like, yeah, but you do also have it in your ordinance to take care of that.
Yes.
I said, the part is either you create a board or you create an HOA. Well, I don't want either one of those. Because nobody wants to be the bad guy, is what it boils down to. We got, I'm guesstimating 1,600 homes here in the city. I don't think there's probably more than 10 that is 100% compliant. where do you start? Well, you pick out a bad neighborhood, you try to get it. And with as you drive through the city now, I think it's getting better.
Yeah.
I'm getting templates made of all of these things where I don't have to type up and recreate everything from having no template. So the hard part was typing these templates up where you can use it and go from there. So now
I'm getting a little more efficient at it. But yeah, like you said, if we had another person handling even building, it would take, because all of these House bills that pass, I've got to read up on the law to know what I can enforce. And that's the same thing with this control ordinance. A lot of you, if you get the opportunity by next month, look at House Bill 1001 from 2026. It's about 40 pages long. That is the planning commission's responsibility, because there's a lot of stuff to do in there with housing, a lot of setback requirements. And when you read through that, you'll see where, as being the building commissioner, where my job is also getting
much more stringent. So, when you read that, and the best part is when we can put all of that into our subdivision control ordinances. Because setbacks, for instance, there's tiny homes listed in that subdivision. The setbacks are extremely minimal. Well, due to health, safety, and welfare, we can have them more than 5 feet off of the front property line. But that's what those examples is what's showing what that's about. So read that House bill. And then when you understand that, you'll see where trying to go with the subdivision control ordinance with the housing, because
for one, any house that's denied application, I have to turn it into urban housing and development that it's been denied.
When people are looking at relocating, if they have kids, they're looking at parks and schools. We've got a Taj Mahal school. The education may not be the best, but the school is.
Yeah.
Parks, they're the best. You won't find parks like this any other town this size.
Yeah. Especially this size.
Other than that, shopping.
And it's getting more and more improved as the years go over. They add things
Yeah.
to both parks. Now, I know there's a third park, but I don't know how much is being
That's just mostly by those people.
incorporated into the works, I guess you could say. But anything else you have?
But yeah, when you go over that new House bill, kind of put it in with your notes, and then basically the final chance to go in. Keep in mind, this is each and everybody's what they advise they would like to see. For some reason, no, you don't have to explain the reason. And then
With all of those sub notes, like the mayor said, that's going to give the engineer a idea of a consensus of really what the planning commission would like to see. And get that moving on, and then we start on some other extremely vital issues, which there'll be a lot more to come. But with this week or this month,
I'd recommend just reviewing that House bill and become familiar with it, because it has a lot to do with the planning commission. I mean, it's.
Lonnie, I've got a couple of things I'd like to bring up, not on subdivisions though. One I want to question Justin about, but one thing, I've mentioned this before in passing a long time ago, and I think we need to take it up again at some point. I don't want to discourage anybody from building downtown or locating downtown. I think trying to keep this a vital downtown area and not just the so-called edge city here and there, but try to keep, I think that's very important. But I know that the ordinances were passed years ago that you had to have certain facades and the buildings made out of certain materials because of fires. But also, I mean, if you look at the buildings in Knox, I think we need to enforce that they can only use certain materials. You're supposed to use brick. It's supposed to be brick buildings for downtown. And then you look around and is that a fire hazard? I'm not going to mention any buildings in particular. I don't want anybody, but look around and see some of the facades that people have put on. I think we need to tighten that up
And,
for in the future.
and that is where, somewhere in this subdivision control ordinance, with an exception of siding materials, because we do not have a siding permit. We do not have one. Part of that, along with the roof permit, part of that comes from the log cabin rule where people have the right to provide their family shelter. So when you go talking about what types of material, the only one so far that I've been able to enforce is metal with exposed screws. Now, on the accessory building, there's absolutely nothing that can be done with that. But being most homes do not have pole barn metal with exposed screws, can't use it. Now, there, you can also research, I've got some research where they have some cities have moratoriums going on right now about certain types of sidings that you can put on the house. Some of them state no vertical siding, period. Well, that's taken it to, I think, quite extreme. Because if you were to go down on Roosevelt, 801 Roosevelt, on top of his stone, it's got vertical siding. But it looks very nice. There's no exposed screws. And it's obviously going to repel any fires, but it's still installed vertically. So, you know, some of that wordage and insurance purposes, obviously with metal siding, it's going to cost less insurance if you live in a fire prone area. So
I'm mainly, my concern is the buildings downtown.
Yeah.
I think it's, well, I don't think it looks good, first of all, but I do think it's a fire hazard. That's why they passed those ordinances to begin with, because there used to be a lot of fires in downtown areas.
And really, without a historical board, I don't know how we would be able to alter that, or how you as a board would want to alter it.
Is our, how can I say this? Is our downtown area Justin considered historical after a certain amount of years? The buildings themselves?
I doubt.
No,
I
there's only.
Okay, I didn't.
The historical record, the historical list is the courthouse and what, the bridge or something? There's just two.
Oh,
Two
okay.
structures or something.
And to get it on there, a lot of it needs a board to preserve things to close to original. And with what we have, it is extremely difficult to really mandate what type of sightings. And it's, as we would like to keep it, Justin may know, but I have no idea how to.
We had a facade program, don't we? I don't know if we still have it, but
Yeah.
we had a facade where Knox would pay, the city of Knox would pay a certain amount, but they were restricted with what they could use there.
And that has nothing to do with the city planning commission. That is the redevelop foundation. And that's where you would have to address that board for some stipulations that the city would pay for. Because if somebody's gonna pay for it, well, if I'm gonna buy something for somebody's front of their house, I'm gonna buy what I like. You know, and if you're getting it for free, a brand new front door, and you need it, you'll take any one I buy you. You don't care.
I agree. The topic isn't for this board, but since it was brought up, I'll talk about the elephant in the room. How much money have we spent to keep business downtown? And how much money did we spend to have business move south? You haven't spent a penny for business to move south. You're beating a dead horse trying to keep downtown alive. You're
Well,
beating a dead
Put in
horse.
the infrastructure, so we
I'm
put sewers,
just
stuff
telling
like
you.
that.
Downtown can't grow. It can't. You got the highway, you got the park, you got Parkview. Biggest mistake was ever made was that post office being built there. Should have been built in the future of Knox, not the past. And the future is south.
But they pass ordinances and things that do regulate. I'm talking about the downtown businesses. Like you can't have a roomy house on the bottom floor of a commercial building. I'm talking about the commercial buildings.
You'll be surprised when you read House Bill 1001 on that exact topic.
Okay, well, I'm gonna move on to something else because I know it's getting late here now. But Justin, last night at the council meeting, this county council meeting, what access road were they talking about vacating? Not Shusky Road, but the one for the, Wood. But
That's
it's
where-
a Johnson subdivision, am I right?
That's where I was bringing that up for any other business that concerns the board. I was good.
I just wondered.
I was gonna inform the
because
board.
I usually catch that kind of stuff in the newspaper and I
Mhm.
didn't see it in the newspaper ahead of time.
Yeah, it's when we go on to that section,
Okay.
that's what I'm gonna enlighten the board on.
Well, since we've already opened it, go ahead. Any other business? Need to
Okay.
come from the board.
So I was watching the commissioners meeting last night. I don't watch them all. I don't know if it's a sixth sense or what it is, but I seem just to catch the exact right ones. The owner of the Deerfield Estates was proposing a road to be a future proposed road to be isolated. That subdivision is controlled by this board and only this board. If anything was to be changed, it has to go through this board. Well, there was no mention of, and that's where I'm defending Justin, because normally, yes, a future proposed road, yeah, get rid of it, let the neighbors have it, there's never gonna be a road there. That was not what the City of Knox Planning Commission figured or agreed on. We were not notified as parties of interest by the owner, which in the resolution, which I have on my desk, he signed that all people of interest were notified, was not. So talking with the mayor, obviously we don't, as the city and the mayor, don't want to get into it with the county with something like that. He, I feel, believes like I do. They didn't really know even where it was. It was just a proposed road. But if you were to go around Deerview to the new part that's paved, you go all the way around. There's a house being built right now. There's a 66-foot access that goes all the way to the end of the
What are we
property.
talking about? I don't understand.
There is.
It's called Johnson Road.
Well,
Johnson subdivision? Are you
let
talking-
me get the print so everybody can see.
Yes,
Where is that? I'm lost.
I know where he's talking about it because
Well, is it where Melissa lives?
in that area, but it's on the backside.
The backside.
Yes.
Okay, so he said last night, the guy said that they accidentally transferred it at the time. And now he wanted to transfer it back. Yeah, so it was accidentally transferred to the county.
No, It's in the original blueprint.
It's in the,
Justin said it did say.
it is county maintained road. But the subdivision still stands under the subdivision control ordinance that the city has. This here, this is the whole subdivision. You see it's recorded, everything's signed off on. I'll show you what road they're talking about.
Sorry, Justin.
Oh, okay.
Right here.
And there's railroads over
I
here.
don't think you know.
No, railroad's right here.
Oh.
When you come in here,
Yeah.
your daughter lives over here, but you gotta go all the way around.
Yeah, and they're building over.
They're building on this lot right
Yeah,
here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So they said they accidentally, if I understood them right, now I could have misheard. I thought they said they accidentally transferred it earlier and they wanted to transfer the ownership back to them.
This is what this board approved. There's a lot right here. And the owner of this lot has come to me because right now that ditch continues on through. You don't even know that road exists. That drainage ditch comes right on through. And he asked if that is his access to that. Well, yeah, that's county property, that road. But he would have to ask the commissioners to put a culvert in. So he could access that. You can't go through and destroy the ditch. But that's the road that was.
Okay, so what did they do? That's what I wanted. What are they gonna do?
They are dividing that to these two properties. Each property gets an additional 33 feet to the property.
Okay. I just.
Let me look at that, please.
I wanted to know what was decided. I didn't understand. And usually I follow that. I'm one of those people that read the ads in the paper that classifieds. And you can kind of get an idea of what's going on, but.
Where is this subdivision?
In the 2 mile jurisdiction.
Okay,
Near 500 and Culver Road.
okay.
This is 500, Culver Road comes right through here.
Okay.
So if I'm understanding this correctly, the commissioners granted something without going through us.
Yes.
Okay. No, I know where you're talking
Okay.
about.
So where do we go from here, Lonnie? Are you gonna?
Justin has just become aware of this. And talking with the mayor does not feel the county has any responsibility in that. It would have been up to the obligation of the person who has signed so many of these documents, who owns that property, is the one responsible for contacting us. He did not notify us.
Johnson himself.
Do we take that to court? The mayor said we have 0 options of retaining another lawyer to do that.
So that's,
Would it
I guess
be,
it's kind
would
of,
it be in Justin's conflict to go after the property owner?
And my recommendation would be to contact the auditor and the commissioners and say the proper notification wasn't in order, so bring this up at your next commissioner meeting and just vote to negate the, and then what he needs to do if he didn't submit proper notices is notify the city of Knox and then reconsider their future commissioner meetings. That way the city can be there and say, this is what we want to see done.
Okay.
Then the commissioners can decide, from there with all the parties of interest notified what to do. That'd be my recommendation, because in the resolution,
that I drafted for the commissioners, it says again, proper notifications are in order, but it also contains a section there at the end that says we're not vouching for anything contained in the petition. We're merely saying we've accepted this petition. Proper notices according to the petitioner have been provided, and based on that information, we would or would not approve to vacate the roadway, which is what it was.
It was a vacation of the roadway.
So what was the idea? Okay, that all makes sense to me. Now, it makes sense. What was the idea of the road that originally was just to get to the culvert?
No,
That was for, there's another piece of land where that future road would
So
go.
you wanted to put another
That
subdivision.
is the size of that entire current subdivision. That is that amount of size.
and the person who owns that property, he has access to his property.
Yeah.
You
And
can't deny, the way I understand some of the law, and Justin, you could
Right.
probably correct me.
He does have access to it.
He needs to have access to his property. And that road, that portion, that 66 feet was set aside for the county to build a road for future, not only for another subdivision, but also for that individual who owns that property to get in there.
But it's all owned by the same person.
It's
100 acres, so he has access to his
I
property.
mean,
Now-
he can come in from a different direction, but
Yeah, from his backyard.
yeah.
So, but it's for the future growth and that annexation, because if you look at the map, the city limits go right down the railroad that is right next to it. And if the city decided to put in another 200 homes into the city limits, it would just be a matter of annexing it. And that's where the 2 mile jurisdiction comes into play to be able to do that. Now, with this going on with some of the future plannings, there's more grants coming up that has been eliminated. That's why a lot of this stuff is imperative we get done, and hopefully we don't miss a cycle. And some of that supplies infrastructure.
And not to get off that, but me and Lonnie did talk a little bit, and I think he's gonna talk to the mayor. And my suggestion is just go put the city on the agenda for the next commissioners meeting and bring this up to them and let them know that, hey, there was a mistake made. You need to back out of it. Have
Well,
whoever, do like what you said, Justin, and then
and that's where I would go represent as the administrator.
Right.
Represent the board. And if it was, and I don't believe a resolute or a vote needs to be done, but just a favorable recommendation that I talk to the mayor, that we go there, probably he and I together, like we had in the past, and talk to the commissioners on a formal meeting. And we can do that on the next month's meeting or whenever we can get on the agenda. It could be in 2 weeks. If we go to a morning meeting, which is probably what we would do.
Yeah, I mean, you do need to contact the auditor pretty quick. She's the one that's going to process the change of ownership in the vacation, so.
I already have.
You talked to Michaeline about.
This morning,
That's good.
she told me that, all that information had already been turned over to the recorders. So I got the recorded, resolutions from that.
Okay.
So, like tomorrow, I can let her know that, I want to get on the agenda at the city, obviously with the mayor's approval. And then that would almost put a stay to anything that's going on if we're going to object that.
Just so that we have it in our records that it has been brought before us. I will make a motion that the matter be referred to the mayor and Lonnie in his official capacity to present to the county commissioners on our behalf to resolve the issue.
do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? No opposed, okay.
I just think it's important to be in our record.
You're right, it should be. but I can't make that motion. I don't know, can you?
So that's,
Really all I had that I felt pretty obligated to inform the board of and let them know where that's at, because a lot of people are not quite familiar with these subdivisions. Obviously, I write permits for these places all the time. I know where they are. I know what their slang names are. You know, I know what all that is, and most people don't realize. And like with that, and I've read that resolution, and I do not feel that the commissioners acted in any sort of malice whatsoever. It was just, I don't think the right things were followed through. And just let,
Just done it.
inform the commissioners and go from there.
An oversight.
Yeah.
Okay. I have two things before we adjourn. July's meeting, I won't be here, so AJ, I hand the wand off to you. And, November 3rd is election day. It's a ways off, but, I won't be here. I don't know if Jeff will be here. Do we want to still have a meeting? Or do we want to postpone?
I would make a motion that we hold the meeting 1 week later. If we keep, canceling meetings, then.
Yeah, no, that's why I'm bringing it up now, because I'm,
right now, we can't afford to be canceling meetings. So if we,
That would, change the date.
so that gives us plenty of time to also put it in on the board, and then you have to put it in the paper? Okay, I don't know. I wasn't sure.
Email, just because I plan my work schedule around.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that.
Usually I don't email until a day or two in advance, for the simple reason I don't want anybody to forget. I want a last minute reminder. You know, if it's any sooner, you know, if you need more or you have a question, you know, give me a call, say, hey, I'm doing my schedule. What day is it? So if
I'll
it's,
shoot you
what
an
is
email
it,
too.
July 10th?
July,
November.
November 10th.
Okay, what was the,
July.
I'm gonna be gone for the meeting in July.
Second Tuesday.
Yeah, it's the 7th. So
First Tuesday.
I'll be out of town. So AJ will be.
so for a week, we can adjust that schedule by a week or so?
It don't matter if you have the meeting with me or without me. does
Well,
it?
we prefer to have it with you.
Well,
If, if we can change July's.
do you want to change it to the 14th?
Whatever.
Do I have a motion?
I'm fine with that. Is the 14th still a Tuesday?
It's still a Tuesday, yeah.
I'd like to make a motion to change July's meeting to the 14th.
Second? Do I have a second?
Thank you,
Okay.
Jim.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. November 10th and July 14th.
And.
And do I have a motion to get it?
We can make it, but if not,
I know, November is far enough out. Hopefully you can plan around that.
Second Tuesday of the month, I've got 2 other meetings.
Do you?
I mean, you're fine. You're fine.
Okay, that's fine. I don't think we do a lot to where we might have a question now and then, but not that
and
not
some
very
of
often.
those questions, I can always,
Email it.
text or email
Anything
Justin.
we're gonna get sued over, that's what we got there.
Yeah,
That's fine.
yeah. Yeah, and
Uh,
most of this is as an advisory, we're just asking the city council to consider.
Do you have a motion to get out of here?
Yeah.
Second?
I second that.
Everybody in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, we're done.